So we are now in the prototype development, okay? There's so much on the introduction of recap. In prototype development, you know what's a prototype? Prototype is simply something that tests, right? Like a beta version. You know beta? What I'm trying to say. It's like something before it became a product. Right? Before it became a product that can be used in the market or to sell or commercialize, you will create a prototype first, okay? Or before you can use it in your company, all right, for them to use. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a prototype. And in prototype development, there are various concerns that you might want to think of during your prototype development. In your project, right, have you all come to this stage already? Have you all go and decide all of this thing already? Hopefully you have already highlight which one to do. But if you don't, it's okay, no problem. Because after this, after your midterm, right? Midterm exam coming back the next after your midterm break, right? After your midterm break onwards, I will be giving you some time during the tutorial, the lab time for you to do the prototype development, all right? For you to basically create and test your system to coordinate yourself. In simple words, don't need to come now, right? If you don't want to come, but better come, all right? If you want to do your work, all right? During the lab time, you understand? But now, all right, let us go back over here. So, what are the concerns? There are 5 concerns, right? Five concerns, 5 or 4 concerns, I thought. But let us look at this one. In developing this prototype, right? If I didn't tell you that you can use Google App Script, the one that you have been doing in your lab, right? Then you'll be questioning yourself the technical issue, right? What kind of concerns that you're going to have in terms of technical? Technical consists of the skills and where the system you're going to build. So the prototype first concern is the technical. And if I don't tell you that you can use the Google App Script, then you have to decide which what do we call over here? Platform, right? Which platform to develop your system, okay? So first concern in prototype development is where do you want to build, okay? Where is the platform or where you want to base your system in. You can have .NET framework. You can go with different language, right? Different platform to develop your system. Does that make sense? Then you have also your concern in the technical is the integration, all right? Will the platform integrate to certain system? What is the consideration over here, right? In your prototype development. Then you have the performance over here. Performance, science integration. And you have this one, which is the scalability. These are the four aspects in consideration regarding to your technical aspect of your prototype. Have your prototype developed in which platform? Whether the performance, is it good or not? Will the speed fast or not? You can see if you use certain script. Have you tried playing with the Google script already? So if you try playing with the Google script, you can see certain code that when you create in your page, it will load slowly. Certain code, when you use, it will load faster. And it also goes back to certain platform. Certain platform where you use like the paid one with the database, with the proper database, then the speed to access to the system is faster. You understand? Like for example, the one that you are using, the Google script, right? When you click login, it will load for a long time, and then it will load, and then it will slowly prompt up the buttons, right? So if you have a different platform, you will have different speed, and then you will have different performance in terms of the efficiency, right? Then the scalability over here is when the Google Sheet is not a database, right? Google Sheet is not a database. Do you understand that? We are using the Google Sheet, right? Google Sheet is not a database, and the problem with Google Sheet is that, number one, later you will look down there, the concern will be the data integrity. It will be also concerned on the data development, the relationship development. There will be more codes for you to write to link between one sheet to another sheet. Do you understand? Later I'll explain to you over there, right? But basically, in simple words, it's like this, okay? Different platform will have different pros and cons, right? And these are one of the considerations you need to put in place when developing your prototype. Then you got this one, the design, okay? Design over here, how are we going to design this? First of all, the user interface, right? The UI. You need to consider what kind of UI you're going to have. Where's the location of the buttons? Should you put all the buttons on top or on the left or on the right? The buttons for you to go into another, or you put in the middle. Then navigation. Oh, here's the navigation. After you decide the UI, how you're going to navigate. Will you start first log into the system straight away to a dashboard, or straight away when you log into the system, you go into specific module of certain functions? These are also one of the considerations in terms of the design when you do the prototype development. The one that I give you in the lab, right? I already planned for you, right? I already decide that, okay, you have the login button, log in straight away to a dashboard, right? And then the dashboard got 3 buttons. That is what I have defined for you. But in your project, in your experience, all right, in your case, it's up to you, all right? But you have to decide where you should go first, all right, the navigation of it. Then, should there be any error feedback, or is there any feedback on your design? You should also put in. For example, when we delete something, then it will prompt up, are you sure you want to delete? That's like an interaction. This kind of consideration you must also put inside. And of course, being aesthetic, right? Aesthetic in terms of consistent. The button, you cannot have the button, X button, maybe the save, okay, like this, all right, save, then like this, right? This is the button of save. Then the next one, you, instead of write save, you say add. then this is not consistent. You got what I mean? Let's say you want to record the item, and you have the button write save. Then when you record the customer, the button over there you write add. So it became not consistent. The best is fixed to one term. Alright, so all save, all edit, and all delete. Not remove, or don't change other terms. Alright, then that will create some confusion. Will it create confusion? I don't know. Alright. Being consistent, alright, being consistent matters. Alright, you want to show that it is consistent throughout the system. this is more on the aesthetic design, right? After you get your system working already, design out everything, already can work, then you can think about this. But before that, you can also tell your friend, all right, saying that these are the buttons that we're going to name them, and then you can create a standardized list of items that will be used across your friend, all right? Then we have the data over here. Okay, this is the one that I want to talk about with the Google with this one, all right? This first, the structure. You need to consider whether the data over here, if you are using Google Sheet, then the structure will be different. You need to write additional code to link between one form to another form. What is the power between database and, okay, over here, let me just put very fast, database versus sheet, all right? The difference, the main difference is this one, relationship. In the spreadsheet, don't have relationship. But in the database, there's relationship. Relationship between what? Between tables, okay? In the spreadsheet, you can create different spreadsheets for different tables, right? But we cannot do the relationship. What is the importance of this relationship? To recall the information faster, all right? To have the information being linked, okay? You have one table over here, maybe on the order, and then over here is maybe on item. So if you link the item ID over here to the order table, then when you go into the order page, you can just have a drop-down. Menu that you can recall straight away from another table, because they are linked in relationship. Can you understand that? But the problem with the Google spreadsheet or the sheet or the Excel sheet is they don't have the relationship. So when you go into the order table, this and this are disconnected. So what you have to do is you have to write an additional script code to pull the data from this item. So these are the considerations that you need to put in mind. All right, it works differently. Make sense, sir? Does it make sense to you? Goes back again. Then you ask why do we need to split this table into different tables? Then it goes back to the normalizations. Remember the rules of normalizations. You don't want to have a table that forces someone to fill in all the information at one time. Reason being, number one, to save time. Number two is to reduce redundancies data. So if you have the same customer buying the item similarly for 3 times, do you want to enter the name, the phone number, and the address 3 times? No, right? Your system will be inefficient. So that's why you need to split into different tables. Normalizations rule come in from that. All right? And that's where this logic comes in, and then that's where when you do your planning on your prototype, you need to consider that fact. Okay. Then you got the data integrity. It being numbered, then you need to have the data integrity to enter only the data number. All right, I don't have time already. And also, where do you want to store the data on? All right, the storage. So the user. In terms of user over here, the concern is basically, let me just go with this one first. You want the user to have experience on the help menu, all right? You want to have when you create your prototype, you must consider yourself when the prototype is developed, where you should put in the question mark. You know, when you go to a certain system, right, you want to fill in the blank, you want to fill in something, or you want to click in certain buttons, right? There's like a question mark there, then you hover your mouse over, then you can see like what is this thing is about, or what is this button going to do when you click on it. There's like a self-help guide over there, instead of letting the user to question where is it. Right, these are kind of concerns you have to also put in place. Compatibility, you need to make sure that your system is compatible, all right, in between different browser. Controls, all right, control over here, we want to say that the authentication, there is authentication between the form, all right, when you create the prototype at that time, you need to also put into mind of the control, maybe certain steps the user cannot approve by themselves, all right, they need the other person to help to approve. This actually goes back over here, right, this one over here, when we do the system design, right, those are the design. Now we are just putting down into the concerns, and we are moving into the state where we are now developing it already, right? We already decide most of the things we already decide earlier on. But now when we are going to the platform, we need to consider all of these things, factor in place, all right? To have a system that is a good system, right? You got this one, all right? The control on when the data is not the correct data, you will not allow the user to enter the data inside to the system, all right? Then you got also control on adding in the audit trail, all right, the log back to the system. And maybe if there's an error or feedback, you can have that. Okay, now we move into the